Welcome back to A Corporate Time. So, a while back when we did our 10-year ACT anniversary show,
yeah, man,
down in Sanford, we did an after party at Tuffy's Bottle Shop and Lounge.
Yeah, we did. We were hanging out at the old Bottle Shop and Lounge at Tuffy's.
And Dan from Tuffy's like, hey, I'm going to book this band that I think your listeners will really like. They're called Silver Linings, and they'll be playing at the Music Box for your after party. And
always a plus when we get a band.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, great. Yes. The party continues. It's not just, we did our D and fart jokes. We got that out of the way. Now we're ready to have some drinks.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. Yeah. Band on stage.
So me and Daniel went to the after party. Unfortunately, we never got to see you guys because we were like talking to everybody up front.
But everybody kept coming up to us and being
they're
like, oh, did you see the band? Oh, God, I was just shaking my ass.
And we're here to apologize.
No, they were like, did you see him? Oh, man. Oh, Dan, you're a mute. Dan, they're all drunk. Dan, you got to see this band, man.
A usual night for the Silver Lining Band, actually.
Yeah. and a lot of people were like, oh, you should check this band out.
Seriously, it was like an obnoxious amount of our listeners saying like, hey, have you seen this band? And I'm like, no, guys, we didn't. We missed the band.
It's actually our tagline: Silver Lining, an obnoxious amount of listeners.
And usually, I'd never listen to our listeners because they're
all
drunk and on drugs.
Right.
Sure.
Not trustworthy.
And they've
horrible people.
Made horrible life decisions.
Yeah,
so
have.
I'm like, well, I'm going to take your advice.
But they do like to party. They like to party.
Yeah, they do like
that is where they excel.
But then I started to see listeners that are good at life talking about how good you guys were. And then I'm like, wait a minute. These,
We've
and
got
usually
layers.
they're women.
We've got layers of listeners.
Our male listeners are, stereotypically horrible life.
Oh, just drunk fat idiots.
But the women are better, and then some of the women are high up executives and stuff. I don't know why they listen to the show.
Career women.
And then they were saying like, oh, this band was awesome. Like it was one of the best bands I've seen in a while.
True.
So I contacted Dan from Tuffy's.
I was so impressed that he did it the Monday after the whatever we did, because I remember I walked in and you're like, you were ready to go.
And I was like, we need to book a band for our Bad at Business Beer Fest happening November 23rd, because we always have a live band for our beer fest. It's a street party. And then so I contacted Dan, then contacted James, and then worked it out, and they'll be playing our beer fest this year.
Hey.
Silver Linings.
Right.
So thank you guys.
You guys get a blast.
Sorry, I do the longest intros in the business.
Yeah. And then you pepper in my siren, and you got a really weird scenario.
It was long enough for the Quaaludes to hit.
Yeah, this guy knows.
This intro could actually go the whole segment.
Yeah.
I could keep going.
We could get to the end and then be like, thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah.
Is this a bad time to mention that we only know 2 songs?
No, that's fine.
And those are...
It's fine. Just keep playing them. Play them 6 times.
We just did them on a loop. That's it. We have a loop pedal, the 2 songs, then we walk off stage.
Well, hey, thank you guys for being here, and congrats on having a band that's worthy of our listeners annoying us to get booked. I mean, that's what you want, right? Is you want to be so good that people will go to people that they know need bands and be like, hey, these are the guys you need to spend your money on.
So James is here. He's a singer, and Tony is the bass player, I believe.
Hey.
So let's talk about the band first, because you guys, and are you considered a cover band?
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much, yeah.
Because that's why the BDMs and listeners liked it so much. They were like, they played every hit song we wanted them to play.
Correct.
And so let's
also,
start.
they kept saying that you guys were like mixing songs.
Yeah, a lot of mashups that we end up doing too.
Okay, yeah.
So let's talk about the start of the band. Like, how'd you guys get together, and when did you guys decide, like, hey, we're going to do primarily 90s covers?
Well, I mean, it really kind of goes all over the place.
Okay.
I mean, as far as 90s, I mean, we kind of all grew up, in the 90s, so we might be a little biased on that.
I'm the
Yeah.
old fan of the group, so yes.
Oh, you're the old man? And you're not old. I mean,
40. So
40. All right.
Okay, well, that's I'm
Not
42. I'm about to turn 43.
And your voice just cracked when you said that.
Because you know
I'm
what
42.
Start checking IDs here.
Yeah, I'm 42, I promise.
You know what it is? I forgot how old I was for a second because I started to say 42.
That's how I know it's real.
Yeah.
That is how you know it's real.
When you get in mid-40s.
I don't even think of it anymore. I call myself 50. I'm 48. I've been calling myself 50 for the last year.
You might as well.
I know,
Yeah.
right? I think,
I think I only know 40 because it's an easy one, and then after that...
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's all the same.
Dude,
Once you hit 40, it's all the same. But anyway, old guy.
Once the lower back pain starts kicking in.
Oh, my God. I need 2 hip replacements.
I'm actually in better shape than I am now than I was in my 20s.
You were.
So.
That's why your voice
No,
cracked.
I'm not
That's why your voice cracked. You're dialing back the age.
I'm joking. Also, I shouldn't say this, but
Penis doesn't work.
PP doesn't.
Yeah, we
guys
both
look
have
forward to
erectile
that.
dysfunction.
But there's chewing things for this now.
Yeah.
We
Anyway,
actually brought you some party
We can see
gifts.
it right now.
Yeah, my God.
Back
Don't
to
forget,
business.
The
Yes,
News Junkie
yes.
has Blue Chews. Use the code T&J at checkout.
So, how'd you guys become this band?
So this band kind of came what it was during the pandemic. So it kind of predates it a little bit. We all were a part of different bands, but Tony and I were actually in another band called the James Ryan Band. Go figure.
It was a really clever name.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. But we frequent a venue in Orlando that we would see the members that are in Silver Linings that ended up being we would just say, hey, you guys play all the same songs. Like, it'd be really cool if we could play together, like in a band eventually sometime down the road. And then the pandemic happened, and we were labeled non-essential. Everyone's in their house, and then everything started to kind of open back up again, and the venue opened up again. But some of the members of other bands.
What did it feel like to be labeled non-essential?
It was.
What did it feel like
it
to
wasn't
have people tell you you're not needed?
I found it validating because I've always felt myself not needed, and I was glad that the rest of the world also saw that.
Yes, me too.
Finally.
I was like, I am absolutely. Finally,
I'm
they
going
got
to
my
therapy
label
today.
correct.
a lot of pressure off the shoulders too. It's like, stop expecting things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But
Stay home with my dog.
But
now.
it did force you guys maybe to slow down a second and take a look at what was around you.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
and we were one of those bands that it's like, well, if we can't leave the house, we ended up, Mike, our drummer, he pieced together this really cool thing where we would all record guitar. I would record guitar in my house and sing. He would do the drums, obviously Tony the bass, and then put it all together. So it was nice to kind of slow down and not have to.
Which I think the Paramore cover is still out there. Was it Ain't It Fun? Is that what we did?
Yes, and it's still underneath the James Ryan Band, but
James
that
Ryan
was
Band.
kind of around the same time that the Silver Lining Band became something.
Yep.
And then basically we would kind of pick different members from all the other bands, and then they became the Silver Lining Band.
Okay.
Were you able to use the pandemic and then the idea of facing the internet, putting out like covers, still honing your craft, still practicing, doing whatever you're doing, but were you able to use that almost as like market research as to whether or not this band would be something you wanted to continue as a real musical vehicle? Or
Yeah, it honestly, it was finally everything. It sounds corny. The name, the Silver Lining Band, came from, well, this year is kind of crap because everything shut down. But the silver lining of it was we finally get to play music together. So everybody kind of came in, and from that energy, it was just us like, hey, are we available for this date? And we would just go out and play it. And people said, hey, you don't suck. So that kind of was the fuel. It's like, here we are.
Silver Lining Band. They don't suck.
How do you manage the other bands though? So you've created this one, and this is going well. Do you juggle all of them? Do you because a lot of my musician buddies have so many different projects,
and we're not different at all.
Gotcha.
So, I'm kind of, well, and we all have different hats. Like Mike Brown, our drummer, like he's got another job in audio and audio design.
Nice.
Tony, he's got his own job at Universal.
I skipped today.
Oh, well done.
If you could, not play this, like you said, until Monday. Then
Not so much.
Okay, you got it. Yeah.
just in case.
You were never here.
This question is gonna come off insulting, but I promise it's not. I also do this. I have long intros.
Is this when you start circling on their body with a grease pencil like Howard Stern did the areas that you don't like?
I hope this isn't offensive.
Yeah.
But what is your problem?
I mean,
no, I promise.
He called the shot, if you will.
So if I was starting a band, I would think to myself, all right, I could start a band and then write original music that no one will know, and then it is going to be insanely hard to to make the crowd upbeat and stuff because they don't know the song. So to get it out into the atmosphere and it's a lottery ticket. Like who the hell knows? So I think I would go cover. right? And
because
then start playing
you
covers.
want the familiarity of the songs that you're playing.
Yes, and because instantly people, just like our listeners did, they're like, this band is awesome. And like all of a sudden you start hearing feedback and stuff, and then maybe kind of work in reverse, then try some of your own music if you even want to go that way. But it's a good way to immediately have a hit, like with everybody in the audience.
At least in the room. I mean, is it selfish in a way that you guys get to play songs maybe that you like?
It's a lot of things. It is part of that. It's the music, because I do write my own music, and that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, I figured all musicians. I knew you guys did.
And let's call a spade a spade. It's sad.
Yeah, do you write sad stuff?
So I write sad songs.
No, I write sad stuff. I only like anything that I write that's like original. Oh, you don't want to hear it. It's dark.
It's really sad, and I love it, and I cherish it.
For you,
and there's a place for that. But I do need to smile at least twice a year. My therapist says. So I do that with this band, and also I play guitar in those other projects. But the first instrument I played was bass, so it's a way for me to go back and play bass. That was actually when they first, because I want to say the first time we played, it was supposed to be a one-off. It was, you were going to play a solo show, and they said, hey, can you do a trio? So Mike called me, and we met in Mike's house.
This is a long time ago.
In 2016, and put a set together in
I think
4
that's
hours.
I think that's cool. So I mean, so how do you decide? Like, do you look at this as purely like, oh, we can make some money doing this? This is like a quote business band. Are there different variations of your, I guess, musical entrepreneurship?
We do corporate parties, we do private parties, venues to, like themed events. It's honestly, it's just wherever you need us, and if we can kind of like provide a solution and just play music. Then...
You know what it reminds me of, Tom, is we used to work with her in radio for many, many years, and now she owns bars in Cocoa. But our very good friend Tiffany Martin, and what's interesting about Tiff is that she got really smart. And she loved music for music. I mean, she's a true musician and a true singer. But she did realize that, like, man, if I start doing these conventions, I can survive and I can do this professionally. I truly can live off of conventioning. And then she ended up moving to Las Vegas and just doing it professionally for like 10 years. I mean, that is a very viable business model. It works.
Get your shit together, James.
I'm
trying.
So,
can I say shit?
You said it twice. Tony.
I got you. We're good.
Always the bass player. It's always the bass player.
I'm a drummer. I got your back, rhythm section.
Bless you.
So I feel like the key to a good cover band is song selection. And it's almost the
timing.
Only key. Obviously, like playing the songs well, but selecting the right songs to play, I feel like, is really the root of whether or not the audience is going to like you. And so how does the song selection work for you guys?
Great question.
I mean, it's Tony can attest to this. Sometimes I throw the full band underneath the bus because we take a lot of requests.
It happens.
And people will come, hey, play this one, and I congregate with maybe Mike, which doesn't deal with chords. He's all the rhythm. And then I'm like, okay, we can do it. And then I'll just go back to my microphone and like, here we go. And Tony's left to be like, I guess we're doing this.
So you guys will wing it sometimes. Yeah. And that's, okay, this is the feedback I wanted to hear, because that's kind of what the listeners were saying, is that they felt like the whole show was sort of interactive. Like, I mean,
improv almost?
I would say that's, I don't want to speak for James, but I'm going to.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of our shtick that we have. There's a lot of great corporate cover bands out here, and they kind of have their set list. And it's not that they don't take requests, but it feels like we are the performers on the stage, and you guys are the audience. And I feel like ours is more, it has a front porch quality to it.
I like that.
And somebody might say, hey, can you play this song? And we're like, I've heard it.
Yeah.
I'm going to use my iPad, and we're going to look it up and see how it goes. And it's a bit to see how it goes.
No, but that's fun.
It's exciting for us.
Yeah.
When it crashes, it's a joke that it crashed.
We're all going down.
I like that. That's good energy. Like, I've always, he knows I like to wipe my brain clean before we go and do things, and it's just like straight improv, and it's like almost like a tightrope test.
Yeah.
I'm worse at it now as I age, and you will get worse at it as you age, but it's still super fun to try.
Yeah.
And to see if you can wing it.
I think that goes further too than, like Tony was saying, you have like, oh, we're the artists and y'all are the audience. There's no line for that. So even if it's just like a verse and a chorus, I think the effort of just trying to see if we can do it And even if it does crash and burn, I think that goes further for, oh, well, at least they tried. You know, what else can we throw at them?
At its very least, it's authentic.
Yeah.
You know, like at its very least, you guys gave it a shot, and we got to be part of the equation, and you messed it all up.
What's the wild?
And I gave the suggestion. You know, so that is kind of cool.
I'm trying to think what our wildest let's just wing it was, and I think at one point we got asked to play Tom Sawyer. And we're like, we don't know it, and they're like, I'll give you $100 to try. And we did fairly well considering. And then I think we got to the bridge, and all four of us, because we had Sean, a keyboard player with us at the time, and we all realized as it was approaching, like, oh crap, there's a bridge in this song, and none of us knew it.
Yeah.
What'd you guys do?
But it was a bit.
Wu-Tang, Shame on the N-word.
That's a great song.
Harder to pull off.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I play bass. I don't have to say any of those words.
Yeah. You'll be fine.
I'll be fine.
Yeah. In fact, you're really laying it down.
I'm laying it down.
Yeah,
I got
it's
it.
gonna be great.
I got it.
Says it a lot.
I mean, Wu-Tang is for the children. That is a scientific fact.
absolutely
So,
is.
And it's forever. So.
Also
And it's forever.
Correct, forever.
So, but besides from the audience requests, do you guys have some standard songs that you always play that you like playing the most?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we don't like the bass player to get too comfortable. So
All right.
Tony does a really great job on Muse's Hysteria. So he plays that bass line, and it just doesn't stop for a good.
It
how
doesn't.
How long is the song? Like 4 minutes.
it depends. It depends how long we decide to vamp it.
We just like for him to earn his keep. That's
I mean,
kinda
any
what's up.
cover band that's going to pull out some Muse, that's fun.
You got
Yeah.
to.
Is there any band if people? I mean, I guess if you're taking requests, there's not really much that if you know it, you're going to try it.
We're gonna
Yeah.
try it.
That's pretty fun. I like that.
We're gonna try it, and the amount of money you tip is the higher amount we will try.
Oh my God! Okay, hold on.
It's like
that's
dueling
a piano bar.
piano. Yeah.
There is an element to that. Is that a fair thing
Yeah.
to say?
I mean, I think so. At one point, we had John was our bass player in the very beginning.
I don't like that guy. I like your new guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never liked John.
He's doing fine in another band.
I never
in
liked
there,
John.
But
That was during the pandemic, and I was locked in my room making really sad shoegaze.
Do you know why John's not here anymore?
That's
He
a
took a
fact.
dump on Pelosi's desk.
that's
Yep.
That's
not true. I meant that.
we can either deny or confirm that right now. But no, it was just we're just glad to have Tony back. You know, that's it.
Well,
So.
We love you,
glad
Tony.
to be here.
So is the whole set like requests, or do you guys start and then go to requests later? Like how's you
It's
go
kind of a lot of probes kind of out there in the beginning because we're like we don't know what type of audience this is going to be. It was the same thing for when you guys were there in that audience, where it's like if people are trying to turn up, it's like all right, well here's a lot of pop punk or here's a lot of rock, higher tempo type stuff. But then if people are just kind of hanging out, it's like all right, well maybe we'll start off acoustic and and grow from there. But once something hits, it's like all right, well they really like that. What's another in that same wheelhouse that we can throw out too? So a lot of psychology, kind of comes
it's
with
like you're
it.
being a DJ as well as playing the music, which is hard.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
hard.
So how
DJs never get any credit for looking at the crowd, and there is an art form to that. And any of the DJs that I know here in town that I've known since the '90s that have been literally looking and surveying a crowd and knowing what songs to play and doing a good job doing them. There is an art form to it and knowing what
Very
to play.
much.
Yeah,
I could suck the life out of the room,
Yeah.
I mean,
Hands down.
I can look at a crowd like, what color are they? I know what music they like. That's it. It's easy.
yeah. Put
I
on the
think-
boom
give them too
bap.
much
I think
credit.
we should get him up there to sing the Wu-Tang.
Yeah, he
I
actually
think that's
loves
what
that.
I'll do that. I know every word.
He does know every word. And he can't say it, but sometimes he does. But he doesn't say that.
And I think I can do it right now.
I'll
I
follow
think
up.
this
It's
is
never
right.
been a better time to try.
Would you look at the time, you guys? I gotta.
Well, where else are you guys playing? If go ahead.
Well, no, I wanted to ask, when you, if someone requests a song and you don't know it, what website, what program do you use to learn it on the fly? Is there a particular?
That's confidential.
Okay, so there is something that you guys. I mean, it's not like you're just searching the internet.
I mean,
or watching
you're
it.
like
the
a grandpa.
same-
I'm imagining there's an app somewhere.
It's the same guitar tab app that everybody uses.
Yeah,
pretty
I
much.
think you just
play
go to the
guitar,
app,
you
you
know what
type
it
in
is.
Okay, well, I don't know
STP
that.
Vaseline, and
Yeah.
boom, there you go.
And
Yeah,
there it
it's
is.
called for what I use. It's called Ultimate Guitar Tabs.
Oh, now
Okay.
you gotta
Yeah.
pay him. You said the name. Now you
Yeah, I already paid them for the year.
I'll cut it out. I'll cut it out.
There's no rules anymore. Don't worry. So there-
Tony said a curse. You could say whatever you want now.
Yeah, everybody in the chat room uses Ultimate Guitar.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
And honestly, that's what kind of helps us in the improv, where it's like, cool, I've never attempted this song, but yeah, most pop music is like a 4-chord.
Sure.
4/4
You can follow patterns. You guys are professional musicians.
Yeah,
So.
and so
at least that's what we want you to think.
Yeah.
and it's working. But going onto that app, it actually kind of helps me. All right, cool. So it's going to be in the key of A. Here's the lyrics, and here's like they'll put like the chord over top of where it's supposed to transition, and that kind of helps us along. It's like, all right, but then sometimes that whole chord structure or that whole tab is made by someone else, and it's not right. So that's always fun when we're on the fly. Be like, all right, let's give this a try.
Yeah.
That's not a B minor. All right.
Yeah,
so,
it's just like anything else.
Always
It's
the
like
B
there
minor.
is misinformation in there.
Yeah.
There's people that like sometimes I'll download tabs and somebody like transposed it into something all weird, and I'm like, oh my god, why'd you do that?
Yeah.
Okay, have you guys seen like the TikTok or social media videos of they'll bring in a famous like drummer from a different band and they'll play the first like the
Drumeo videos.
Yeah, 1
Yeah.
minute of a song, and then they'll leave it up to
Yes.
the professional drummer to fill in the rest of the song with what he thinks should work,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
seen
Yeah.
these videos.
Pretty damn
Absolutely.
close.
These are with
normally.
Chad Smith of the
Yeah,
Chili
I was
Peppers.
just about to say I've seen that one.
Chad Smith. They do a lot of them now.
And so, and I watch those, we all see them, and what I find fascinating is that the person, now who knows how real that I'm like always.
No, I think these are vetted
yeah,
because they've showed recently where they'll play a song and the guy will go, I know it, and they'll go like, we won't
Yeah,
use
yeah.
that
Yeah.
one, we'll skip it.
Right.
So let's just assume it is real, and I'm shocked by how close the drums are to the original song, right? And that told me, because I'm a non-musician, and you guys probably just knew this already, but I'm saying this for all non-musicians out there. It tells me that somehow in our human brain and a musician's brain, like they hear what should be played, and that's damn near close
Pretty
to what
close.
is actually played.
I think it's just patterns.
And
Yeah,
so,
I think it's like I like musicians you'll hear it, and you're hearing patterns that aren't even there, but you can still hear the repetitiveness, the way the bass line moves, the way the melody moves.
There's certain tropes that are in every genre of music. So like a blues progression will always be 1 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord all the time. So if it's an E, it'll be E, A, B. That's the blues progression. That's going to be in every blues song.
It's tried and true.
So you kind of once you kind of get that feel, and it's same with country has its own tropes, and pop punk has its own tropes, and so on and so on and so forth.
That's fascinating to me, because then it's like I imagine you guys may have someone request a song you guys don't even know, and then all of a sudden you start playing it, and then you probably just stop looking at the guitar tabs
get
and
the
stuff
pattern,
because
yeah.
you
You
already
go,
know
"Oh,
where.
it's
And then you can just stop looking at it and then
Yeah.
damn near finish the song exactly how it's written.
And
Yeah.
because of that actually brings it back to what we mentioned earlier. That's how the mashups happen. Because
Yeah,
usually in real time we'll go like, wait a minute, what's that song by Lenny Kravitz? The Fly, is that what it's called?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, fly.
I think we were playing live, and I realized in real time that was the same chord progression as "Who Will Save Your Soul" by Jewel.
Oh my God.
That wasn't some genius of composition.
that's when I
came up
started
with.
writing sad music right after red.
Yeah, but yeah, you
But
just
it's like
like
that
push
kind
it
of
in there. You're like, this will work.
and you're like, it's funny, it's a bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even there was I think on the same night that you guys were there at Tuffy's, that we played Friends in Low Places, and instead of me saying where that whiskey drowns and that beer chases,
Yeah.
I said where that tequila does it, and then Mike decided to do like a Latin beat like over top of it, and it changed the feel of the song for just a split second. Where he's that good, where it's like, all right, I'm going to do this for this
And
long.
he listens. That dude listens more than any musician I've ever met.
Man.
He didn't listen when we asked him to come to this today.
No, he didn't. That's why we're looking for a new drummer.
Oh, he was so good. We loved it.
No.
We loved. No,
You
no.
didn't even watch.
Drummers never.
You said
No, we
earlier you didn't
We
watch.
weren't there, but drummers never listen. I wasn't listening to anything you said there. I was like, you were talking, and I was like, something about a drummer. I was like, I want to yell.
So, how many songs do you think you've played throughout the time Silver Linings?
Or do you have a
playing in
set
band?
number? You're like,
Have there been hundreds of
Man.
different songs?
Probably. There are ones that we forget that we know.
Uh-huh.
all the
Quite
time.
often. Yeah.
And through doing this, do you think you guys have learned just a ridiculous amount of random?
is there one you can't do?
Pop
Is there
culture
one
songs?
song that you're like, we'll never do that one again?
I'm just gonna say it for all bands right now, but Freebird. Even if we could
Yeah.
do it,
Gotcha.
I don't know if we would.
We're not doing it.
Well, 14,
I like that.
14 minutes and 37 seconds. You know, it's like,
really, they only want to hear the guitar solo anyway.
yeah, and then I don't want to
That's the
disappoint
only
anybody
part they
when
wanna
we
hear.
get there. I mean,
I do love a Die on the Hill. We won't play that though.
Yeah,
like I like
that's-
Angel, like our buddy Angel. Like he won't take requests. He just
Yeah,
doesn't.
yeah,
He won't do it. Don't ask him. He won't do it.
I mean,
Fun sidetrack to the whole Freebird thing. I've heard, I've not experienced it. I've heard that if you go to a Bob Dylan show and you shout Freebird, he will stop what he's doing and play Freebird start to finish, instead of playing his own songs.
Wow.
Yeah, this is like a,
You're like,
that's like a
that's,
party
that's
trick.
what I've heard.
I like that
don't
he's
know if that's
programmed
true.
like he can't stop himself.
But
Like, he has to
it's
do
a
it.
but it's
all
a
the way
punishment. It's like, okay, you guys aren't going to hear, you know, you're not going to hear Visions of Johanna now, and it's that guy's fault because he
You're doing that out
requested
of spite. I like
because
that.
I've now had to shorten the set to play.
Did you
Freebird.
know that? Who's the guy that's the kid actor that's playing Bob Dylan in the movie? Timothy
Oh, yeah.
Chalamet?
yeah,
Chalamet,
yeah.
whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know?
Charlemagne?
Yeah, there was a headline yesterday. They said he studied with a harmonica teacher for 5 years. Wow. I don't believe that.
5 years.
I don't know. I read the headline and I printed it out because that was the only thing I was going to say about that. I was like, that is a lie. He did not study with a harmonica teacher for 5 years.
Well, the
for a
harmonica
Bob-
teacher was teaching him Italian.
But for a Bob, yeah,
it
but
just
for a
also
Bob
happens to
Dylan
be-
bioepic, I'm just saying
Yeah,
you
he didn't know
exaggerated.
5 years
No,
ago,
you
right?
exaggerated that.
Yeah.
That is an exaggeration. That is not. That did
I
not.
mean, now
happen.
I kind of want to see the movie. I mean, it's
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
marketing is working.
Supposedly, he studied with a harmonica teacher and then a vocal coach, and then also a body language expert, so he could walk and move his shoulders like Bob Dylan.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good. You got the job. You got the
done,
job.
he's
done, he's done.
You got
I
it.
didn't have to study for 5 years.
That almost sounded like Putin. That was like, good. I like that. It was like
I do not want to be sued.
We actually have a show coming up in Russia soon.
okay, very good. Let's plug it.
So, well, we'll talk about the Beer Fest. Silver Linings is going to be performing at 2 p.m. at the Bad Business Beer Fest. That's Saturday, November 23rd.
Come on out, free event.
make
Bring
it.
your photo
yeah.
ID if you want to drink.
That's when the sampling starts. Get there early to get a free sample cup, completely free. If you show up there at noon, you'll get we're giving out 500 gift bags of a bunch of gifts from our sponsors.
Yeah, totally free again.
And just show up between noon and 2 to get your free sample cup, and then you can sample over 30 different breweries and brands.
Tons. I was looking at the list earlier. It's going to be a good time.
We got a THC seltzer that's out there,
Hey, my God.
which apparently no rules
yeah, no
anymore.
rules. I'll just fall asleep. I'll just be laying in the bushes.
A lot of our sponsors are going to be out there. Tons of food trucks, and of course we got DJ, then Silver Linings playing,
And then music from you guys, and we can't thank you guys enough. We're super excited about it.
I hope you guys will be around to see it this time.
We
Yeah,
will.
yeah.
Like,
We'll be announcing-
Well, we're obligated for this.
I'm
one.
gonna look for you to just see you shaking your heads. What did we? What did we
I'll be
do?
yelling, Freebird!
What is this?
My Freebird!
No, we're going to be bringing you guys up on stage and announcing you guys, which I hopefully it's like every once in a while we'll do that move where we announce the band and then we're like, ladies and gentlemen, Silver Linings.
No, wait, do you say the Silver Linings Band or Silver
Okay.
Linings? Which would you prefer?
This Silver Lining Band.
The Silver Lining Band.
And then
No
we,
S.
No
Silver-
S. No S.
Okay, well, let's
There's
get it right.
only
The
one
Silver
lining.
Lining Band.
And we forgot to coordinate with you so that you immediately just start playing, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh god, and then you get up on stage.
Oh, and that's my favorite.
Oh, man.
And then Tony's chugging a beer.
And
Okay.
then there's like 8 or 9
describing-
minutes of
yeah.
you guys like tuning it. Like
No, the drummer's still
I
getting
was
a
gonna-
beer.
That's our drummer's worst nightmare. Actually,
That happens to us all the time where the drummer for the band is in the bathroom. He's taking a poop in the West End.
So you have met Mike.
And we already announced the band, and then we're like, ladies and gentlemen, the Silver Lining Band, and then we introduce you, and then it's dead silent 12 minutes, and then you start playing.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he hears everything in the bathroom in his
Yeah,
head.
while you're pooping. Yeah. He's pooping. You ever sweat wipe? Oh my God, it's so hard to sweat wipe. You're like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get up there. They gotta wash my hands. I'm like, I gotta drum.
James, Tony, thanks so much for coming by.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you guys. Come on out.
It's great.
And we'll see you on Saturday, and we'll be right back.
Awesome. Is that it for today recording, or are
Yes.
we gonna do a little more?
I think we may have to do
The 10?
a small
Okay,
10.
cool. I'll
So-
keep us on the. Thank you guys.
No,
But we're
no,
still on
thank
Twitch
you.
and YouTube. So.
All right.
Yay.
So let's talk religion, politics. God,
Yeah.
Both the Twitch and also the YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for coming by.
Guys, that was super fun, you guys. I love your shoes.
Thank you. You got those in the shot, right?
Yeah,
I wish.
And did you talk to Ben?
I haven't heard from Ben. Was he going to email or text? Was the thing?
I'll text you his number, and just so you can touch base with him, just make sure your stage layout is fine. You know,
Right.
He's dealt with
He might have reached out to Mike because Mike is the one who kind of handles
Okay,
just
cool.
as far as like input sellers.
Yeah, I mean we've had the only problem we've had in the past is we had a band that had 10 or 12 members. You know, like they had all brass section and stuff like so. So then that was hard to speak because it's a smaller stage. But for you guys, it should be pretty
I think
standard.
we have just it was Mike, you, myself, Sean, the keyboard player, and then it's not Jose.
Are we bringing John this time?
No, it's not even John. It's another
We have too many
saxophone.
saxophones.
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
Apparently, you know,
And,
if you
and an
can play.
upright, the upright takes up a lot of space too.
Yeah, that's true. But it won't be.
Yeah, it'd be fine. I mean, the stage is big enough for you. Yeah, I think it'll be no
Now our
problem.
pyrotechnics team.
But,
That's gonna take up some space.
I'll work and we're cool with it. You doing whatever you want, and we'll announce you the day of, and we'll talk to you before that. So
If you guys have anything, just let us know. And
Cool.
We're done. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Cheers, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Nice meeting you. I got that saved for Monday 3.
Yeah.
Does that work?
So that longer segment we did.
It was 17.
17. So and that we just did 30.
Yeah, I could put it. I could make it 4. It fits because it ends up being 46, which is fine.
Okay. Let's.
I already have
let's
it
do that.
labeled too. Okay, so
And
Monday
let's do
we
a 10-minute, just a small voicemail segment,
Okay.
just to tack on tomorrow, because we got the Science Center coming tomorrow,
Okay. Yeah.
and so we just need a small 10. That way we could do 30 with the Science Center, and then it all fits out. It fits. But I do think that it's a good business move, like to if you want to, put together a band and then you all agree, like, let's just play really good covers, and that will get us out there and get us gigs, and then from those gigs
you don't have an ego.
you transfer
Some
into
guys-
playing your own. At
Some
least
guys
you know
have an
people.
ego. We're
No, I
not.
know.
You and I are not frontmen, right?
Yeah.
So I was always a bass player and always a drummer. I always like the background. I like laying down a beat. You, certainly not a frontman. Like there are some guys that I don't think they can put their brain into doing other people's music because they're just like that's like almost an insult of some sort.
That's kind of like when I was talking about, like, I don't mean this to be insulting.
Yeah,
I was about
yeah.
to say, like,
It wasn't
playing cover. No, I know, but playing covers as opposed to playing your own music, I can see musicians like shying away from that because of that reason, right? But it's a way for you to immediately get gigs. And
if
then,
you're good, oh yeah.
and then once your foot's in the door with all these different relationships,
Then
like
you can
could transition
Put
into
something else out there.
Think about, like, I remember when Badfish, they opened for themselves with their own original songs, right?
What's the name of their other band though?
That's a brilliant move too, because you book the House of Blues with Badfish, and then you just play, and then if you
But we didn't stay, did we?
well, they opened
For themselves.
and they played. So it's we saw.
Oh
them,
yeah, we saw them, and I remember that was weird. Yeah, that was weird. They
But-
did open them for themselves.
But it's a good business model because you're like, that's a way for you to play House of Blues, but you're
Some
playing
people
House
just
of
get
Blues.
tired of playing covers, though.
Yeah.
It's like you're the type of person where you can eat a spinach power bowl with corn in it every single day for the rest of your life. Some people can, play, Sweet Home Alabama every single day really, really well and earn a check. But maybe they don't want to do that.
No, yeah, I understand you get tired of it, but like Badfish did, they used
They're smart.
the covers as a way for them to play the originals at big venues, which is
But some people don't want to hear that's the other side of it. Is some people like, you start playing an original and people are like, this sucks.
yeah. Well, that's that's what you'd have
And
to
it hurts your feelings so bad because all you want to do is play your original music. All right, let me get these voicemails. We're going to do a 10. I got a couple emails, too. Okay. I'll bring us back. Here we go. In 3, 2. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Let's do voicemails and a couple of emails. We'll start with this one because I mean, look at this huge stack of emails I have that's like piling up here. But some of them are good, some of them not. This one is from our buddy Clay. Dan, Tom, and possible special guest. What are some cooking skills that you have been improving in recently? I currently need to improve my side dish skills for the holidays. I also want to get better at cooking dinner events that I can take over Thanksgiving dinner and replace the turkey. I don't know what that means. I wonder if anybody does hibachi-style dinner for Thanksgiving. Clay, doing anything special for Thanksgiving? You're not much of a cook, right?
No.
You can. You could cook some things.
I've never improved my cooking skills. That's it.
Okay. All right.
Never.
That's
Through from start
Yeah.
to now at 42 years old.
I'm constantly trying to get better at cooking.
I can't. There's something wrong with my brain. How stupid I am.
I don't think
know.
that. No, I don't think that's fair. Just because you're not really into cooking doesn't mean there's necessarily anything wrong with your brain. It just you're not into that particular thing.
I can't learn new things that I don't care about. If that makes sense.
I think a lot of people are like that.
Like
I might be like that, but just in different things, right? Like I'm not going to learn how to propagate plants. Don't see any value in it, but I see value in knowing how to make a gravy or make a roux.
But there's value into being more efficient and cooking something more delicious. But I'm making eggs. Like I make the same scrambled eggs I've always done. And Crystal's like, why? You're not preheating the pan right. You're not. There's certain things.
Right. You have a way that you do it, and you're not willing to change the way that you do it because you don't see any value in changing it.
I do see the value because I end up cooking the eggs. Like I want to change, but I just keep doing it the same over and over, and I'm not getting better at it. I don't know
because maybe you don't need
mad
to.
at myself.
Maybe because you don't think you need to. But cooking, like I love cooking. Maisie loves
you
cooking.
Love it. You love it.
Yeah,
though.
I love it. Yeah, I can honestly say love. And that I think that's the difference. I mean, it's a very simple answer. I think that's why you just do it the way you do it. It's the same way with me.
I'm just trying to get it done.
Yeah, you're just trying to get it done.
The
boys need eggs and they need them quick because you got to hit the road.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to I'm not.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to get joy out of
Andrea's
making
like
them
you,
better.
dude. Andrea's exactly like you. She even said that to me. She's like, we're sitting there, we're doing something, and I was showing her something. I'm like, hey, don't do that. You want to put cold oil into a hot pan. And she's like, she pulled me aside. It was almost as if you were saying this to me. She's like, I don't get what you get out of this. She said that to me. I hope she's in the chat room. She goes, I don't get what you get out of this. So if you want to put cold oil in a hot pan, you're going to have to do this. She set me straight. And I was like, yes, ma'am. You got it, ma'am.
Yeah,
yes, ma'am.
I'm just trying to get calories for the family to eat so they stay alive.
Correct. quick calories.
And like just
and not not a bunch of crap.
Good enough so that
Protein
they'll eat it.
Yeah. I got you.
It's got to be good enough. It could probably be 25% more tasty, but that's not worth it for me
also,
to do.
here, I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to surprise you.
Bad way to think.
No, I'm going to surprise you.
Because I can make my eggs more delicious for my sons.
I wouldn't make them more delicious for your sons because I would say they wouldn't notice it. You'll put 25% in to make them more delicious, and they're going to negate the 25% you put in. So don't even do it. If it's not broken, don't fix it. They're fine, right?
Yeah,
do they like the eggs? And then you're fine.
Yeah.
Don't change it because you're going to go messing it up. Now, for me, cooking is a meditation. Kind of like when you get into that run state and the S shift is happening and you're kind of zoning out and you don't have the pain or soreness or what, and you're just going and you're like, oh, this is great. I can go forever now. I get into like cooking something. I'm like, I think of like, oh, this is going to be awesome. The family's going to love it. Like, I don't know. there's a value I get out of it. I'm trying to get better utensils. I'm trying to get, right now what I'm working on to answer this guy's question, what's real big in my house, and there's a New York Times article this week about it. I'm getting rid of all my cheap plastic spatulas. I'm getting rid of that. I
got a lot of that.
I'm going to metal or wood or expensive, but I'm getting stuff that doesn't melt. I'm getting stuff that doesn't leach microplastics into my food. I know it's too late for me, but it may not be for May. So I'm gonna try. That's my goal for. In fact, for Christmas, and everybody can make fun of me, but that is on my list. On my Christmas list for Maisie and Andrea are kitchen utensils like a nice whisk, a bunch of nice
stainless
steel spatula, like the kind you get at restaurant supplies.
Okay, so
they can be really expensive.
Do you use Teflon pans?
I do, but I only have one, and I use it for eggs only. Every other pan I use in my house is stainless steel.
Now it's.
I have all clad. I'm
Okay.
crazy about my. I bought it with Juan from
Yeah,
Williams.
that's what a chef
I went
would
to
use,
Williams Sonoma and I used Juan's Le Coton Bleu cooking card to get 25% off because I can't afford all clad. And I bought a starter set. It was like $1,100 in the box.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I got it for $740.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Still though.
Oh,
that's,
Andrea, I had to beg and beg Andrea. I'm like, please. And I have had it now for, about 8 years, and it wears great. It's,
But it's more difficult to cook on all clad, right?
it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a learning curve.
Because you don't heat the.
but they're
they'll stick.
unkillable pans. They're literally.
Yeah.
I will be giving them to Maisie. They will be handed down to her.
Yeah.
They are unkillable stainless steel pan. You burn something in it, don't worry about it. You'll get it. You'll just soak it and scrape it on out of there. You're fine.
I recently Crystal wanted to get the Hex. It's a Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah,
what
the
is it?
Hexclad.
Hexclad.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
And
talk to me
dude,
about that. Now you're talking about something I love.
Well, guess and they're I'm
It's
like
so expensive.
one pot, $280. You know, and then
That's a cheap one.
And then
They got that big soup pot. That's like a $380.
So I've been getting her like one tiny like pot every Christmas or whatever. Like God, and recently it's been chipping off in like
Yeah.
the food.
All stainless chips off.
Yeah, like and then the Teflon because I guess it is kind
It's
of
a coating.
Is a
no
coating.
matter what, it's a coating.
Yeah, and then Crystal's like, I thought this was
No,
chip proof.
it all chips.
Yeah, and then she looked it up, and then all the internet's like, it chips in my eggs or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, 280.
I know.
And then she
I had to make the decision. That's why Juan told me if I can learn how to
She
cook
said
on
the
stainless.
only thing that works is all clad.
Yeah, if you can learn how to cook on stainless, like here's for instance for stainless.
But she lives with
Mr.
special
Nonsense.
needs, and she knows. She's like, I will
You're
ruin.
staying more.
Yeah. Like I cannot. She like I couldn't cook with all clad. It would be impossible for me.
Because you know what it is, and it took me a minute to get it. Like I'll give you a good for instance on all clad. Let's say you put you heat it up, right, and you got your pan hot, and you put a dash of oil. You put the cold oil, hot pan, right?
Yeah.
Then you lay. Let's do it. You're doing a pork chop, and you lay your pork chop in there, and you're doing 3 minutes aside. When you go to move that pork chop with a pair of tongs, you grab your pork chop and you move it a little bit to see if it's still cooking, and it's actually stuck to the all clad. You got to move it a little bit. It'll release it, but you got to give it time. You got to let it
I'm like,
cook.
it's not gonna rip.
Yeah, so then you rip it off and you shred the food. It will
Like
release.
burning.
Yeah, oh yeah, you screw it all up. You got to take time. You got to make your temperatures right.
All right. You're describing everything that I can't do.
No, is she transitioning to that? I'm gonna have to talk to Crystal. It's so funny.
No,
the
she.
things
I
that we have
can't.
that
She
align.
can't live the way she wants because she lives with me.
She can do.
I can't live the way
you
I
can-
want.
Okay, you can do all clad. You just
We're
can't.
miserable.
You can't use all clad for eggs. You gotta have an egg pan. You have one Teflon for eggs, and then
okay.
everything. You want to cook a hamburger, you want to cook a steak, you want to cook a pork chop, you want to cook veggies. All clad's fine. It's really I just can't cook eggs in it. Now some people can. You get enough oil in there, you get it hot enough, you can do it. I can't do it.
I also just discovered something right now while we were talking. Trusting the process of the.
Yeah, let it cook. It'll release.
Well, trusting the process of the directions of the what the chef, what the hell is it called?
It's a recipe. I would like for Melissa to pull this. This is awesome because it shows the true Tom and Dan of the. It shows how our brains have degraded, doesn't it? Does it not? If you can't remember recipe, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
Damn it. Anyway,
I'm listening to you, buddy.
when because Crystal will tell me like cook this for 2 minutes on one side, 2 minutes on the other.
Yeah, it works.
And for whatever
Oh, you
reason,
don't do that?
No. I'm like I need to determine how long I think it needs to cook. Like I'm like I
You're
look
the
at
new
it-
manager. You're the new manager.
because there were 2 minutes, I'm like I don't know if that's right, and then but I don't know nothing. You see, I'm not a chef. Like I don't know anything about it. So I should.
But that's
why do I not trust
but that's
it? I'm like
100%
it's not-
you.
I'm like it's not ready yet, and of course it is. It says 2 minutes. Just do the temperature and the time.
You can use a thermometer.
Follow the directions, and I can't do it. I'm like not ready yet. Then I overcook it. It's always wrong because I can't follow the GD
The
directions.
number of things that you have in common with my wife that line up are insane. Absolutely insane.
But wait, there's a disability. Like, why can't it just do? It's easy. Just do what it says.
You set a timer 3 minutes. When it goes off, flip it over. If it doesn't
and the recipe
release,
will be damn near close. I know there's like chefs who will probably do it better, but if you follow the steps and do exactly what the recipe says, right, it should result into damn near the same thing as the chef wanted it to. I just can't follow the directions. I don't know what the hell.
Okay, I don't know. Anyway, hope that answered your question, sir. We got to get out of here, don't we?
Yep. We will see you on Monday.
Well, that worked out great. Good job, buddy.
Yeah, but I don't know what that is, but that's true. Like, I have a super hard time following.
It's just how you are. It's kind of like, I think it's kind of like me where, it's just who you are.
Yeah.
It's like me not chirping. Has there ever been a day when I've come in here and not talked? There never will be. I guarantee you.
Oh my God!
It's an impossibility. I'm sorry.
I thought it would end one day.